If you believe a better world starts from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hold the Light. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman, founder of Hold the Light Collective. This is a special series, a guided exploration of the Freedom Transmissions, a spiritual book about building a strong inner foundation so you can show up more authentically in your life and in the world. Let's begin. Polarity, Resistance, and Transcending Doubt, pages 252 through 276. In this chapter, we explore the dualities within ourselves, our Yeshua Self, which embodies love and light, and our Lucifer Self, which resists change and clings to fear. By recognizing these aspects, we gain a deeper understanding of how our personal struggles mirror collective challenges, and how our resistance to growth reflects the tension in the world around us. Transformation is not a single moment, but a gradual process of awakening to our true nature. Through the lens of light and void, we learn to navigate our inner polarities, make conscious choices, and contribute positively, even in times of uncertainty. This is Polarity, Resistance, and Transcending Doubt. This chapter begins with some thoughts that I feel are helpful on an individual level and a collective level about the light and the void, especially with how we all might be feeling at this point in time with what's happening in our world. The book says, despite your perception, the light is growing stronger within yourselves and the world. There is an opportunity, a birthing emerging despite looking out at a world and perceiving discord. Do not feel helpless. Engage in the transformation by taking responsibility for your own peace. We learn that if we feel like the light is fading from our lives or the world, it's actually us fading from our own light. The truth is that light will never fade, so we're each responsible for our own perceptions and how we interpret what's happening in our lives and around us. We aren't powerless because we're each responsible for our own connection to the light. Even when it feels like discord is all around us, something new is emerging. We learn in this offering that as the light grows within us, resistance often grows too. The text reminds us of the metaphor of love knots. When these knots become too tight and hold too much weight, they can break. And when this happens, our minds rush to make sense of what's happening. And then we begin to question everything because our fears and assumptions take over, because our minds want to hold on to the old stories and old ways of thinking. So when many people share the same thought bubbles and something breaks and old belief systems start to collapse, it can feel like greater world chaos. We've seen this cycle over and over. Wounded people everywhere, creating wounds for others. As it says in the book, it is the initial reaction to doubt, panic, confusion, and a rush to regain control, security, and clarity. We learn that those who blame external circumstances are actually resisting the process of forgiveness. They're focusing on outer change instead of inner transformation. And so when groups that have different belief systems and thought structures don't recognize their shared humanity, they collide and conflict is created. We see the power pendulum swing back and forth. One body in dominance then becomes a suppressed, and then that moves back to dominance, and so forth. It's a cycle where power shifts back and forth without any real progress. Here, it's shared with us that if you're engaging with these teachings, you have the consciousness to move beyond that cycle. This means resisting the temptation to pick sides. While you're welcome to your beliefs, you're not welcome to project them onto others or judge those who have different beliefs. We were designed to hold the light and reach for truth, to recognize that we're all trying to find our way back home. This is how oneness is created and sustainable change happens, through inner transformation. Yet we exist within a collective, like a hive, where each person affects others. Sometimes we need to be in the shadow and separation fully until we become so sick of it that we choose something different, presence and peace. This happens through making amends, which we learn are acts of grace and humility. It's a return to love. The offerings suggest to us that we should try to be more like water, fluid, or like a willow that bends in the wind without breaking. But then we wonder, well, should we have no resistance at all? So we're taught here that there's a difference between healthy and unhealthy resistance. Healthy resistance is about discernment. So when change is coming, instead of rushing into it, we can say, let's explore the options. It's the pause before action. This allows for patience and exploration while staying grounded and clear. We learn that if we rush into change without exploration, our shadow will slam on the brakes when we become afraid. Unhealthy resistance happens when we try to force ourselves to change before we're ready, or we resist change that's already here. This isn't discernment. This is fear. And it's our mind trying to dominate our soul when our soul is trying to break free. As a world, we've been caught in unhealthy resistance for decades, forcing, pushing, suppressing, trying to control what is meant to evolve naturally. And that's why things feel heavy. That's why the old structures are cracking. The divine is making it impossible to stay in resistance. And those who try to hold on will struggle. Right now, many people are marinating in separation, shadow, and fear. They fear love, and they fear fear itself. All of us have done this, or are doing it. But the question is, why do we fear love? We learn here because loving means risk of losing. Often what we fear most is love, yet love is who we are. So we're asked here, will we fear love, or will we love fear? If we are love, then we must love all things, just like the divine loves us in our hatred, separation, and judgment as much as in our joy, peace, and service. As long as we are souls in a human body, we will forever be a mixture of light and shadow. But we're taught, as love, choosing love over fear for all of creation is essential. And this brings us to a part of the offerings that uses the story of Lucifer in his fall from grace and separation from the divine to illustrate the nature of polarities. So, contrary to common belief, Lucifer didn't create polarities. However, we learn he did fulfill the realization of them. Yeshua tells us here that he created the polarities as a way to maintain balance within the void and to hold the counterpolarity of light. Remember, the void drives the light and the light drives the void. They are complementary forces. So Lucifer was designed to betray. His betrayal was necessary to create free will, choice, and co-creation. And without this, we wouldn't have individuality or ego. Lucifer represents the veils, imbalances, and the separate unconscious self. Within each of us, there are two aspects. So let's take a look at them. First, we have the Yeshua Self. This part of us is balanced, aligned with divine will, and it's the part of us that moves toward love, peace, and unity. It's the part of us that trusts in divine timing. And when we are in alignment with our Yeshua Self, we act from a place of grace. We forgive. We choose connection over division. We listen to our inner knowing rather than reacting from fear. And then we also have the Lucifer Self. This part of us clings to control, fear, and resistance. It's the part that believes it is separate, so it must fight, prove, and grasp for power. It's lost in the illusion of separation and keeps our will out of alignment with divine will and loves to dominate others and suppress our own soul. It tries to fill the void with external validation, with things that never truly satisfy. And we learn that while it may feel like an unnatural space for us to dwell in, it's the hardest for us to resist the temptation to indulge in. The Yeshua path is simpler, yet less followed because it asks for honesty and integrity. The Lucifer path seems easier and shinier, but ultimately makes life more complex. Both serve a purpose. We're not meant to reject one and cling to the other. Instead, we're meant to recognize that when we're caught in the illusion of the Lucifer Self and guide ourselves back into the light of the Yeshua Self. Here we learn about the essence of resurrection. The text shares that the movement into the realization of your Yeshua Self from your Lucifer Self is a resurrection of your true self from the illusion or unconscious self. It requires restoring love to betrayed aspects of ourselves, making amends to self and others, and reestablishing balance within our mind, heart, and life. And this is how trust is rebuilt. Resurrection is not a singular event, but a gradual process of evolution. We resurrect in our Yeshua Self each time we return to our breath from chaotic thoughts, pause from the hooks and tangles created by our dependence on the external world to define us, choose humility, forgiveness, and resolution through love, and when we allow the death of thought constructs and attachments. This journey of awakening is more like remembering who we truly are. It is the journey of moving from unconsciousness to consciousness, from separation to wholeness. And so we learn that there are 3 phases in this process. 1, descent, which is moving into form, our bodies, and developing ego identity. 2, awakening or suspension, which is waking up to our true reality as conscious beings who are here to step into our dharma, the service we were designed to fulfill within a given life. And 3, realization, returning to consciousness, which requires a form of death. One thing to note is that the text tells us that we may experience many resurrections throughout our lives before we're prepared for the big one, the final resurrection, which is our final return to oneness and dissolution of the separate self. We learn that every soul finds its way back to the light in the end. But until then, we're encouraged to let our walkabout life be an exploration of wonder, of experiences, feelings, thoughts, sensory perceptions. We're taught that we cannot transcend human life until we are at peace with being in life, not just alive, but in life and of life. So, one big question we are then asked is, what do you wish to contribute? What do you want to contribute to life? We're asked, is it money, cars, and doctored images? Or gardens, smiles, conversations with strangers that change your life, creativity, and kindness? What do we wish to light and ignite within the spirit within us? Do we lose ourselves in distractions like the news and social media, and quick fixes like food, alcohol, and shopping? Or do we light up our bodies and the earth? We can recognize our Lucifer Self from our Yeshua Self through these questions. The imbalanced Lucifer Self bears the light as a burden. The Yeshua Self holds and reaches for the light. When we're going through the motions, complaining and always dissatisfied, we're bearing the light. When we're engaging and exploring what's new in each moment, beauty's everywhere. We're cautioned about the power of our words and how important it is for us to be careful with our words. Judgmental words are a warning sign of imbalance in our lives. Gossip, for example, is about fear, judgment, and dominance, and when we indulge in it, it's us who are suppressed. We're repressing our Yeshua Self, not the other person. When we gossip about others, it's because we feel threatened and need to assert our superiority or dominance. Instead, we're encouraged to pause before speaking. Until we can bring light into conversation, it's better to hold our tongue. And if others speak ill of us, we shouldn't fear them. They have no power over us. As it says in the book, just because they are in dissonance does not mean you need to be. When we replace gossip and negativity with genuine compassion, we own our worth. Each time we choose our Yeshua Self, we help heal not only ourselves but the collective. We transcend separation, or our Lucifer selves, when we have the courage to choose humility, balance, and grace. So, as we wrap up this chapter, here's what we've learned. Both light and the void are our sacred teachers. When we recognize our Yeshua and Lucifer selves as part of our growth, we stop resisting and begin to flow with divine balance. It's through conscious choice that we can return little by little and moment by moment to our authentic selves. Here's your focus until the next episode. Read or reread the chapter called The Alpha, the Omega, and Eternal Life, found in Part 2 of the Freedom Transmissions under Transmission 6, on Life, Loss in the Lamb. This is found on pages 279 through 309, and there's a meditation at the end of the chapter. In the audiobook, listen to The Alpha, the Omega, and Eternal Life, found under Transmission 6, on Life, Loss in the Lamb. All links and information are in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Keep holding the light. If this series is resonating with you, I'd love to stay connected. Visit holdthelightcollective.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter, Build the Light. It's where I share good news for the soul, plus my latest events and offerings. All links are in the show notes. And if this podcast has meant something to you, the most generous thing you can do is share it with someone. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman, with additional producing and sound design by Jonathan Grossman, who also wrote our original theme music. Until next time, keep holding the light.